Hey bitches, welcome to Belly and the Dancer, a podcast hosted by two best friends who will fearlessly explore a range of topics, leaving no subject off the table.
Join us as we dive into engaging conversations and take you on an unfiltered journey through diverse subjects. Let's go! Yay! Oh Hi, I'm Jordyn.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to episode 6.
And we have a very special guest, a celebrity here on the Sunshine Coast.
He's a celebrity on the Sunshine Coast.
Everyone knows him. Everyone knows the Shaw, for sure.
Yep.
And it begins.
Any guesses so far if you're listening on your drive? Or while you're doing the housework or having a shower?
We have Mr. Sam Coward.
The celebrity himself. Welcome so much. And thank you for coming on Belly and the Dancer.
Absolute pleasure. Great to be here.
Oh my God, it's role reversal.
I know.
How many times have we been in the hot studio and shitting ourselves?
We do get nervous when we go in there, don't we?
We do. The morning's full of nervous poos.
Yeah, but every time he's so welcoming and we've built the most amazing friendship with Sam, so we value him so much. So It's an absolute honour to have you on the podcast today.
It's a pleasure, and the feeling is reciprocal.
Oh. You've all got the warm and fuzzies. I know, big words.
We're like, oh no.
I must say we do feel a little bit nervous having such a star on the couch with us today, but we can't wait to get into the nitty gritty and ask him all of our amazing questions that we've got. So should we get into it?
Let's go.
Can we ask you some fire questions first?
Absolutely.
Okay, so just your answer as soon as it comes into your head. Are you ready?
Okay, close my eyes.
Okay, what is your favourite day of the week and why?
Friday. Probably like a lot of people's because it signals the start of party weekend.
Yep.
Shenanigans and fun. And also because I think it actually bookends the week nicely to what you've done. So you've worked hard for the week and then you can party hard for the weekend.
Love that.
Amazing. Favourite food?
Ooh, Japanese.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't mind a bit of sushi. Don't mind a nori roll. But yeah, do like a good Japanese dinner.
Delicious. And this is a extended question from Dan, my husband.
Yep.
He wants to know why you say gourmet and not gourmet.
Because I'm a bit of a wanker, and I think it's fun to do. I'm actually attacking that middle class bogan aspect of our culture that is taking the piss.
Well, he loved it. He really needed to know the answer to that. So
that's why
he heard you on the radio this morning, and he needed to know that answer.
Gourmet.
So
Yep, I love a gourmet sandwich.
And if you could choose one person to have dinner with, dead or alive, who would it be?
Poppy, my daughter.
Oh, perfect. You nailed those. Not that there's any right or wrong, but they were brilliant. You did great. Okay.
Do you remember how we met?
I met Jordyn first.
Yep.
And I think it was from a Burlesque Glamour event that we were talking about. And I think you reached out on socials for some, hello, we're doing a gig.
Sounds about right. I need your help.
How does this radio thing work?
Yes.
We're trying to promote and rah-rah. And I said, absolutely, I love burlesque, I love dance, da-da-da. And so I think we met through an interview. But then on, I fell in love with you and everything you were doing and thought, you know what, this woman's going places. And then I met you, Neil, and I think it was prior to the Mardi Gras.
Sunny Coast Mardi Gras.
Yeah, the first one.
Where we got you all up in drag.
Yeah.
That was so much fun, wasn't it?
Do you know what? I had an absolute ball doing that.
Yeah.
It was top shelf. And you guys were very cool. And I thought, yep, it was fun. But I just love what you guys represent. And I think that's probably what I think you get to an age where you start looking at things a bit differently. And it's not about money. It's not about things and stuff. It's about people. And when you connect with people, that's what matters. So
100%.
I feel very privileged to be your friends.
Oh. We feel that connection too, don't we? We see each other a lot, nearly every day. And often we'll say, we must catch up with Sam and go out for dinner. So it's beautiful to know that we've got that strong bond and friendship all together.
And we always say we've got to go out on the boat.
Yeah.
Oh, boats.
We have to go on the boat. That's coming up.
Oh, boats, baby.
Yeah. We thought we couldn't go without asking you some questions about that. But I do have a question for you. You have a huge background in the arts. What has been your most favourite project that you've ever done yourself?
It's a really good question. I was thinking about this the other day. There's been two projects that stick out for me. From a community theatre perspective, I really enjoyed production of West Side Story I directed.
Yeah.
Reason being is that it was a challenge because it was a dance musical that we did in a shoebox.
Oh, wow.
Which we had to be super creative and find new ways of doing it. That's part one. The reason I loved it. The other reason I loved it, it was such a journey for the people involved.
Yeah.
The people who were involved in that production, every show you do, there's a ride for somebody. There's an arc, a personal arc. And in that particular show, some people went through the most significant and magnificent life changes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So that was pretty special. From an artistic point of view, I directed a show called Enriching, which was a burlesque show.
Oh, cool.
That we toured around Australia.
Yeah.
And I remember taking it to Sydney, and we're at a venue in Sydney thinking, how did we get so lucky that we're touring this with a couple of my greatest friends? And it was just a really slick, tight, fun production. But the funnest show is probably the least artistically creative or integral show I've ever done. It's called The Pirate Show.
Yeah.
Didn't have any more creative name than that. And basically it was just a tits and ass show where we put people in costumes far too small and did the most outrageous stunts and silly things to people. It had the artistic integrity of a toenail, but it sold its balls off. People loved it. And it was just debauched and fun.
Oh,
And
I love
think
it.
art has many levels.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Layers of creativity.
Yep.
So those three are really interesting from a creative, personal, fulfilling point of view, from an artistic point of view, and then just from a cash and crazy point of view.
And obviously you've directed so many, you've probably seen so many performances as well.
Yep.
What to you makes a great performer?
Great performer?
Yeah, performer.
Someone who you can't take your eyes off. It's often referred to as the X factor. And it is so true. There's triple threats in every discipline. You've people that train. You've got people with natural ability who have got great lines and grace. You've got people who have great voices and timbre in their voice. And you've got people who can strike up a wonderful believability in their performance. But it's that one aspect that you just can't explain why you can't stop looking at them.
Can't explain it, can you? You really can't. And you can't teach it either.
You can't teach it.
Which is really special when you find people like that you just can't take your eyes off. Yep. We were talking about that last week, I think, weren't we?
And I think one of the other things is you can see like a performer on show and you can see like if they're humble or not.
Yep.
Like I know it's really hard, like, you know, being humble is obviously like a personal thing for most people, but you can see instead of them just being up there going, push, turn, go right, go left, yep, this is my job, I'm just doing it, to the person going, you can see it in the eyes. There's like, you know, there's a room full of 400, 500, however many people there is, even one person, if they're just performing to one, and they captivate the entire room because they're like, I'm performing for you. Yep. And it's like they point you, like, they find you and they cannot keep their eyes off you.
It's true.
You're like, holy shit, this person is amazing.
And you know what, I think both in their performance, in their movement, in their body language, but also in their voice, we've become more discerning as an audience now because of TikTok, because of Facebook and social media. We're watching so much. We're absorbing so much entertainment that we're becoming highly critical now. Yeah. So if someone's faking it or is inauthentic or disingenuous or any of those sorts of things, you go, I don't like that person or I don't like that performer, I'm off them. Whereas the opposite is also true. If someone is loving what they're doing, and I think that's the other thing too, it's infectious. If someone's enjoying what they're doing, and they're loving their craft, then that's
realness, isn't it? Yeah, and being authentic. And I always say to my performers and girls, I say, never be like scared from the nerves, because if you're nervous and you get those, but it means you care and you're passionate about it. So like grab that and don't ever try and get rid of it, because it's going to fuel you to put on the best show that you can that night.
Feed off it.
Yeah, because it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm getting nervous. Or well, for myself, I think, well, this is our 10th year now, so we've done a lot of shows in that time. I still get so nervous every single time I'm side stage. The same amount of butterflies that I would have the first show. So I probably mask it a little bit better now, and especially when I'm trying to like be that person for all the women to be like, no, you've got this. We're in it together, but I still get the same amount of butterflies. And I think that shows when you're on stage too, because then you're passionate about it and you want to, soak in every moment and just fuel off it. Yeah.
Nothing beats that passion.
I don't know how you do it, because I think the song will come on like, my legs are now cement. Oh, what am I meant to do? Because you just fire, like it's just like a firecracker. You just turn on.
But you know what? You bring your own passion to your own skill sets and to your own world. I've seen you in the background of the Mardi Gras or walking with Ladies and Diva, and you do. You in your place, in your world, you bring levels of passion that enable other people to do their thing. Yeah. And everybody has a role to play.
Exactly. Like the back of house is like so much fun for me, but people are like, Neil, we can't be bothered. Like, or how do you just approach people and talk to people? And we've had that conversation. Like, how do you just start talking to people? And it's like, it's just what we love to do.
Yeah.
Going back to the whole TikTok and like it's at everyone's fingers. Do you think some people are too critical on performers now?
No.
No?
I think we need to evolve to what the audience says.
Yeah.
We need to adapt our performances to meet our audience, not vice versa.
Yeah.
I think it's very arrogant to say, oh, no, here's what I deliver, here's my show, audience, step up and like it.
Yeah.
We don't have that luxury. Audiences are going to tell us what they want, and we need to be able to provide that.
Yeah.
That's
So I think if the audience has become critical, well, we need to get better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So, obviously, with your background in like theatre, musicals, everything that you do, how'd you get into radio?
Yeah, so my wife and I had a little company called Excess Entertainment that we started in the early noughties. And we supplied talent for gigs and things and produced shows, like I said, we toured with. And as a result, the coast was quite eventy, still is in many regards, for like balls and galas and things like that, charitable nights. And I would host a number of those. And I was doing the Noosa Food and Wine Festival one year. And at it, the general manager of the radio station got really drunk. And because he was really drunk, thought I was really good, and came up and said to me at the end of the gig, "Mate, you got to come and work for me." And I said, "Who are you?" Anyway, we worked it out, and it was a fun thing. And I said no. I said on the spot. I said, "Oh, thanks, man, but nah."
Yeah.
He was drunk, and I thought it was just a throwaway thing, you know. Anyway, the next day he rang me and said, "You probably thought I was drunk." You were. And he goes, all right, maybe I was. But I was serious about what I said. Can we meet? And we did. And at the end of that meeting, I still said no. I said, oh, nah, man, look, I don't think it's for me. Thank you, though. But I appreciate it. That's really lovely, but nah. Anyway, about 2 weeks later, he rang me again and said, I don't understand you. We need to get together. We've got to have another coffee, blah, blah, blah. I said, fine. So we had another coffee. And he said one word. It was one word that turned me around. And he said, I don't get why you're being weird about this. He said, I'm offering you something everybody else would jump at. He said, you get your own show. And I went,
my own show?
That wasn't in the original conversation.
Show? What do you mean show? And I'd never thought of radio as a show, as entertainment or a performance. Yeah. I saw it as a mouthpiece for ads and like basically a presenter like on TV that just does filler stuff while the ads and music do their thing. The idea of a show was completely out of my head. And as soon as he said that, I went, I get a show? I love a show. And
shows I can do.
And then we started talking about what a show meant and how, you get to take the audience on a ride, you're telling stories, you can shape it the way you want it, rah, rah. And I went, okay. And then from there, we negotiated and I started 8 weeks later.
Wow.
That's amazing. And obviously, you weren't working with Ash at that time.
No. No.
But
was it just you, or did you have a?
So I started there. Todd and Sammy, who you might know, the drive show for Mix FM now.
Yeah.
They had left, and so they had an interim show at Hot FM, and I was brought in to then basically be the new show with a girl called Linda Edmonds, who was a experienced newsreader and journo and had been on brekkie shows, and she was cool. And that show was called Sam and Edmo, and she had a couple of bubbers, and she decided with 2 kids under 4 that she wanted to focus her time at home.
Yeah.
And so that's where she decided to leave things after just under a year.
Yeah.
We've been together. And then she was replaced with a lady by the name of Narissa Pace. Mm-hmm. And Pacey was crazy.
Yeah.
And we had fun, but she was somebody who is always doing new and wild and crazy things. And I think she wanted to go and teach overseas and she wanted to be a marriage celebrant and then she worked in real estate for a while. She wanted to do a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And so she too also lasted 1 year. And all that time, Ash had been working in promotions at the station and had done a few afternoon shifts and bits and pieces. And I remember at the time, the boss asked me, okay, so is there anyone you'd like to work with? And I said, Ash. And he goes, oh, nah, she's no good.
Wow.
And I went, sorry, what?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, nah, she's too green, she's too young, too sing-songy. Her voice is too sing-songy. And I went, I disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he said, well, that's why you don't get to make the decisions.
Whoa.
I said, okay. So he then set up about 30 people for me to test with. amazingly, none of them were good enough. And I just couldn't work with them.
And Ash is so perfect.
I thought so too.
Yeah, and you saw that.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I just knew. We hit it off. She had a similar sense of humour. She's a wacky personality.
Yeah.
And I refer to Ash as sunshine in a bottle.
Yeah, she really is.
She goes into a room and lights it up. She's got the most positive energy, the positive outlook on life.
Yeah.
And she's a good egg.
Yeah.
And she's straight up. She's honest. She calls a spade, and I just knew that I wanted to work with her. So after I maybe burnt the careers of 30 people who were trying to get forward, the boss comes to me and goes, "You're being a dickhead now." And I went, "Okay. Yep. What about Ash?"
Yeah. Now let's try
goes,
Ash.
He actually said, "Oh, fuck you." He goes, "I'll tell you what." He goes, "Are you prepared to take a pay cut to enable her to get on the show?" And I said, "Yes."
Wow.
And so that's what we did.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
How many years has it been you and Ash now?
8.
That's amazing.
So we were, so that first year and a half, 2 years out of that was with another guy called Dave Matthews.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Dave was really cool.
Yeah.
And he joined the show then as well. But that's why I had to take a pay cut to allow a third person on the show.
Yeah.
And it was also a test to see if I would do it.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Correct. And then as the evolution of radio goes, Dave's no longer with us, and Ash and I have been together that whole time. So September this year will be our 8-year anniversary. My 10th on Brekkie here at Hot, and 8th with Ash.
Wow.
And you're such a dynamic duo. Like,
hands down, my favourite duo on the radio. Hands down, yeah.
Literally, whenever we go there, like in the mornings, and
it's always so much energy for early in the morning.
We're like, should we get a coffee first? And then we walk in, we're like, oh my God, this is just natural.
My favourite thing is when Sam comes down the lift and it opens, and then you're just fabulous straight away that early in the morning, and we're like, good morning.
We were like that 2 hours ago.
You're well past that by that point.
The sleep out of the eyeballs.
God.
What is your favourite part of your job?
I love the on-air stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's me, and this will sound like I'm blowing sunshine, but I love meeting locals and people on the coast and talking through their stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one really gives a shit what Sam Coward says or does. I think people have a greater interest in what the person next door to them is doing. And I think we love hearing those stories.
Yeah.
And so when we get people like you on who are empowering other people in your community and who are doing awesome things and are creating, there's a lot of talk and there's a lot of news and there's a lot of space in our world at the moment for negativity.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the news still gravitates towards everything that's dark and nasty and shit. Whereas I'm far more interested in hearing what people are doing that are creating rather than what those people are doing destroying.
And it helps
It's easy.
with our line of work, because when it's all doom and gloom on the radio and TV, people don't want to go out to events.
Yeah.
People are like, oh no, can't do this. Like, everything's so bad in the world.
They're so scared, aren't they? Apprehensive.
Yeah, and we see it with our ticket sales. Like, as soon as, you talk it up and, I remember the first time we were talking about Sunshine Coast Mardi Gras, I was like, people are driving to work. Do they really want to hear about drag queens right now? Like, but the way you, both you and Ash were talking on the radio and, made me feel so comfortable. And we could just, we just spoke about it, and then we could literally see the tickets then start selling. We're like, holy shit, it is all about community engagement. It is all about
allowing that space,
voice as well.
People want to feel good. They want to feel good.
Yeah.
They're forced to look at the news and see that there's another war happening somewhere and some horrible shit's happening somewhere else. Okay, it's going to keep happening. We can't avoid that. But why focus on that? Why not put our energies into where people are creating and having fun and are about celebrating the human spirit? That's far more fun.
Yeah.
And that's far more interesting. And I'd rather talk about that every day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so special. You do so much for the community, and you're always on. What do you do for yourself or to stay grounded?
Do you know what? My daughter is the centre of my world.
Yeah.
So if ever I'm feeling a bit big for my boots or under my boots or feeling a bit sad or down or whatever, I'll reach out to her or amazingly the universe conspires and she'll reach out to me and I'll go, ding.
Yeah.
Because she lives in Spain now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's wild and crazy.
Is she loving it?
She is. Yeah. She did a year in the Czech Republic and loved that too in a different way.
Yeah.
But she's really living now. She was a bit of a Hogwarts kid in Czech Republic because the school, I think I told you, was beautiful, but all they did was school. It was a boarding school and they never left. Yeah. Basically. And even most weekends they couldn't get out because it was too far or snowed in or whatever. So everything was eat, sleep, breathe, school. Yeah. Whereas now they've got this little apartment down on the beach in Spain and got a crappy car that breaks down that they have to sort and speak in Spanish to some rando to get them to fix it and living life.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And so that's cool.
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, isn't it?
Massive.
And she's a glamour.
Oh, she's stunning.
She's stunning. Like,
she's stunning.
Yeah. She's 6 foot now.
Wow.
Yeah, she's hit 6 foot. She's a big kid. Had prom the other week.
Oh my God.
I'll show you some photos.
Yeah, she would have looked beautiful.
Stunning and just fun. And she's 17, 18 in May.
Yeah.
And the biggest news and greatest news I've had at the moment has been that she's been talking about going to uni in the UK. Yeah. So we're booking a holiday in August to go and scope out some unis in the UK, both in Scotland, Ireland and in London. And then she talks to me the other day and she goes, Dad, I think I've changed my mind. I've been having a look at things, looking at things logistically and practically. And I think Melbourne Uni might be where I need to be. And I went, yes, girl. Yeah. Come home. Because Melbourne's just down the road now. Yeah. And so I'm like, yep, that sounds awesome. Yeah. So we're still doing the UK trip, but we're turning it into a pub crawl and whiskey distillery visit now. Perfect. She'll be 18 and that sounds fun too.
Yeah.
Are you going to meet her in Spain?
No, we're meeting at Heathrow. We'll meet in the UK. We'll meet in London. So it's just easier for me to fly to London and her to fly up there. But we'll probably end up back down at the bottom of Spain in Cadiz to say goodbye.
Oh, my God, amazing.
But yeah, it's wild. Spain's great. I do love Spain.
One of my best trips.
It was Spain, was it?
Ibiza.
Yeah.
So we landed in Barcelona. I got in a car.
Great city.
First time driving on the wrong side of the road. Well, we had a bit too many drinks in the plane. Everyone was like, Neil, we landed in an hour. You've been drinking for 24 hours straight. I was like, have I?
And Spain, the roundabouts, they got as many roundabouts as we have.
It's nuts.
And driving a roundabout when you're driving on the wrong side of the road.
And the wrong side of the road. And they hand me the keys and there's 3 Aussies and everyone's like, Terry doesn't drive. Christina was like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I'm like, I can do this.
I got this.
I had so much Dutch courage that day. No nav man.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
They ran out of navmans and Terry decided to take screenshots and we had to follow the screenshots as we're going. And
That's
then
clever.
I was kind of looking at the wrong side of the road and suddenly in this brand new Mercedes, because over in Europe, a Mercedes and nothing special. All you hear is the side mirror had hit 3 cars.
No.
I was like, keep going. I parked that car for 4 days and didn't touch it.
Oh, that's cool.
That's so you, Uncle Neil.
I would only use it to get to the next because we were at Barcelona, Madrid, Valencia, and I'll just park the car as soon as we were meant to get somewhere and leave it for the 4 days.
Yeah.
That's mad.
You've been so many places as well. Where's your favourite place in the world?
That's a really good question. Do you know what? There's a little town in Austria called Hallstatt.
Yeah.
And it was not something we'd planned to go to, but it was on the drive between Vienna and Salzburg in a rental. And amazing. Poppy just found this little thing on her. She was Googling and she goes, Dad, take this exit. There's a little town called Hallstatt. It looks wicked. And I went, righto. So we just took the exit and went to this little town. And oh my God, it was like a fairy tale town.
Amazing.
This crystal blue lake at the foothills of the Austrian Alps that you can't see the top of, and there's snow just trickling down into the lake. Set into the hill is a castle, an actual castle that looks like it's something that Disney's created. Yeah. And then on the other side of the lake is this little township with all the beautiful old Austrian architecture, the Tudor-style stuff with cathedrals and boat ramps into the lake. And then there was this little market on where we had a coffee. And it was just like we'd stepped onto a Disney set. Yeah. It was just gorgeous. Little cobblestone streets through this thing, tiny little bridges over fjords and bits and pieces. And it was like, sweet mother of God, this is the coolest place on earth. We rented a little electric boat and Poppy's driving it.
Oh, how special you got to share it with her too.
Yeah, man. So Hallstatt would be right up there.
Wow.
That's amazing. And there's, an extra 2 hours in your day and probably like a lifetime of memories that
Exactly
you made
right.
just by just stopping and literally smelling the roses.
And being spontaneous.
Yeah, not having a plan and just going with it. That's really cool.
That's amazing. I would have been like, high on a hilt with a lonely goat.
Oh, we sang it. Don't worry about that.
It's my dream to do the Sound of Music tour. People are like, really? And I was like, I don't know why. I just really want to do it.
It is wicked. And you go to the places and you look at everything, and in those foothills with yellow flowers and everything, absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's so cool.
Austria is underrated.
Yeah.
Austria is so underrated. It's a beautiful country.
It just postcards, everything, like even like watching the Sound of Music now, because like something I'll throw on every so often. I'm like, just it looks so stunning all through the Alps there. I was like, I really want to do it.
My only disappointment, I searched everywhere for Edelweiss and couldn't find any little white flowers. God damn it.
I've got so much traveling to catch up with you two, but at least I know who to go to when I need some tips and tricks on where to go. Yeah.
She's been in more countries than I have now.
That's incredible.
She's a well-travelled little lady, and she's good for
I'd love to meet her one day.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah,
you will.
Let's talk about you and the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, because everything that we've spoken about, so many of it all revolves around the ocean with you.
Yep.
So how did the love affair with the ocean, how did Merman Sam start?
Merman.
I think I'm a water sign, so I'm a Scorpio. So I think I was born with a water connection.
Yep.
My family have always lived on the water or in or near the water. My dad's done 18 Sydney to Hobart yacht races and has always had an affinity with boats and sailing.
That's so cool.
And we grew up, and when we came to the coast, we moved to Mooloolaba in 1980.
Yeah.
And straight to Mooloolaba, straight to the water then, spent every day in the sea. And my brothers are keen fishermen and boaties and whatever else. So we've always had that, I guess, introduction to water. But personally, I enjoyed nippers as a kid. I loved surfing as a young kid, and I just feel more comfortable with life in the water.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, we made a film in 2012-13 called Charlie's Farm. And I got sent on a trip out to St. George and Roma, miles way out west, about 8 hours west of Toowoomba. And I remember having this thought at the time that we were driving, and I was driving the actress and I out for this recce. And I remember as soon as we started pointing west, I started feeling anxious. I'm not an anxious guy, but I started feeling a little uncomfortable. And then we kept driving, and the further away we went, the more anxious I got. And we did what we had to do. We had a wonderful recce, saw the place, had dinner, went to bed, woke up in the morning. But as soon as we could turn back east, I was pumped to go.
Yeah.
And we did that. And again, as we started heading east, the further we got closer to the coast, the better I felt. And it's not until we crossed the headland and came up over that top at Budrum-Mooloolaba Road and looked out to the ocean that I went, and it was like I'd held my breath the whole time there and back. I saw the ocean and everything was okay.
Yeah.
The show I mentioned earlier, Erotique, the show we took to Sydney, we were in Newtown for the bulk of it, which is a pretty grungy inner city suburb of Sydney, and it's sort of really concretey and urban and whatever.
Yeah, and now it's like really, it's where all the gays move to.
This was probably before then. I think Darlinghurst was still the
Darlinghurst was the hot place,
then,
and like Newtown was like, oh, you don't go there.
It was a bit scary.
Yeah.
And I just remember feeling oppressed and trying to get bump in our show and arguing with venue organisers and promoters and shit and backwards and forwards. And I remember getting to the point where my cast came out and they're going, oh, I need new fishnets, or this is torn. And I'm fuck, I don't care. And I cracked the shits and just said, I'm going, I'll be back in a bit. And I jumped in a taxi and just said, take me to Circular Quay.
Yeah.
And I got on a ferry, went over to Manly, looked out to the ocean, went, and did the same. And it's like a battery. It's like I plug into it. So everything I do needs to have a water theme connection vibe because it's important to me.
Yeah.
I feel safe and better there than I do without it.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Got like a natural compass that points you to the direction of water.
Mm-hmm.
That's
true.
amazing.
Yep, and a lot of my favourite memories are water related, whether, parties, engagements, weddings, whatever, have a water theme every single one.
Talking about movies, what was the other movie called that you were in?
Boar? So I've done 3, Thicker Than Water, Boar and Charlie's Farm.
What was Boar like? Because that made it quite being an Australian?
Yeah. Well, Boar and Charlie's Farm both had international releases and did quite well worldwide. Charlie's Farm still rates in the horror film genre.
Oh, wow.
As a fan favourite. A lot of big names in that one, though. There was Kane Hodder and Bill Moseley, Tara Reid.
Yeah.
Some cool cats in that film. So it did really well. I remember the director at the time sending me a picture of taxis from JFK Airport in New York where, you know, the top of a taxi, there's quite often the advertising signage. Yep. There were 2 taxis in a row that had Charlie's Farm placards on the top of the taxis in New York. So that was pretty cool.
That's very
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have you? Do you watch them, or do you?
I haven't for a long time. Yeah. I've seen them all.
Maybe we should do a movie.
Yeah,
night.
I was about to say that. I would really love to do that. Yeah.
Charlie's Farm. We'll be both sitting there going, oh. Sam will turn around and go.
Disclaimer: Charlie's I meet an untimely death. Spoiler. Everyone does. It's a thrasher. What do you call it? Slasher film.
Slasher film.
But my death is particularly gruesome.
Wow. I must see these now.
We need to watch it. We need to do a movie night.
A wine night and just watch these movies.
Are you ready for that, Sam?
I don't know if I'll be here.
Why?
Oh, it's confronting.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it always feels a bit odd.
Even still now?
Yeah.
Wow.
With new people. Yeah. I must tell you, and you can edit this if you need to, Paige, but I choke on my own penis.
Don't edit that. Don't cut that out. I have so many questions right now.
My instant reaction is like Sam going,
now,
dying that way.
And that would be a good way to do it. But unfortunately, the bad guy cuts off my member and then rams it down my throat.
Wow.
And I choke.
What movie's that?
Charlie's Farm. Hang on. You go, I've seen that before.
I really want to watch that.
So good.
Oh, good.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
We have some research.
So it's awkward when you're watching that with friends and they say,
I bet, actually, I get that now.
Can you pass to Lamington? It's a bit of a, top up on the voddy? Yeah.
Can we do a special screening at
Bellas Lamore with all the members
on
and
the
Sam?
big screen?
Absolutely, we can.
That'll be hilarious. And we'll give out little, like, chopped penises. I can get lots of them.
Perfect. Do it.
And it was really funny making it too. That was the bit that was really fun because I had to be turned into a bit of a Ken doll and then they put prosthetic parts on you for doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And the director is a practical effects master. Like that's his thing. And so it's really odd when you're standing essentially naked in the middle of the bush with weird bits and pieces around you, cameras everywhere, and then you've got these other people that are standing dangerously close to you with little pumps and things to squirt blood at the right moment and whatever else, and you're going, this is awkward. Cut, do it again. Really? Cut, do it again. Really? Like 8 hours one time because you're completely taped up, but there's a funny story in that actually, if you want it.
Yeah, always.
Always.
So in getting ready for the role, you have to prepare everything downstairs.
Yeah.
So I went for my first ever waxing, which was quite an experience.
Yeah.
Never felt more like an Atari in all my life. Just this whole, hey, whoa, hey, whoa, ow, whoa, ah, whoa. It was quite an experience. And then we went back to the set location where the makeup artist had to basically get everything out of the way for the effects artist to build the prosthetic.
Yeah.
So that required me putting all of me into essentially what was like a jewellery bag.
Oh,
and it's a
the cock sock.
Have you seen these?
I've heard of them.
Okay, so it's literally like a suede purse, like a jewellery bag, and you got to put everything in there, and then you pull the little string at the little string at the top.
It's got a string,
and it's like a little, like the money
little
bag
drawstring.
Yeah, and that's fun. And then you're standing there looking real weird with this set there, and then you have to bend over in front of someone who grabs your bag and pulls it backwards, and then uses elastoplast, like strapping tape, to put that pouch between your bum cheeks.
Really?
And then tape everything up out of the way. Now, the first time we did this together, I had to build quite a relationship with the makeup artist.
Yeah, I bet.
Because you're basically standing in front of her and winking at her for a sec while she does this. And he getting taped up. And so we did have a few drinks to prepare this rehearsal.
Well, you would have to, sort of, wouldn't you?
We did. Now I'm a little drunky drunk with my package up my bum.
Yeah.
And everything's taped away. And I thought it would be fun to jump on a bike.
Oh.
Did you just forget?
Instant regret. And it was like, and I fell. I was like, oh, fuck. And then that was pretty ordinary. But then it was, we were good to do it the next time we had to do it. And so that was fine. It was just package up, tape away, done. But then I had to sit in that, like that, for nearly 9 hours.
So no bathroom then?
No, man.
Wow.
And I was like,
yeah.
so you make sure everything's sorted.
Like no liquids, just
nothing. Just eat a Weet-Bix. One Weet-Bix.
A dry one. A dry Weet-Bix.
So that was, yeah, but it's all part of the fun. And
so many stories.
What were your thoughts when you got that script? Because you're like, this is great, this is great. Hang on a second.
It all happened super fast, Neil, because I was actually not cast in the role.
Yeah.
And I think I've never had this conversation with the director, but I'm pretty sure I was just a number to make up the local quota as an extra, because it was an American film essentially, and big budget, rolled into town, and I think in order to get permits and things, council had said you need to have so many locals involved in the production. So they were just ticking boxes, and I was part of the ensemble who were unnamed, untitled, unspeaking, just go and stand in the back and wear a hat because we got to tick our locals box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went to a meeting to do exactly that, and we're standing around, blah, blah, blah. And then I didn't know, but the lead actor was, negotiations broke down and time was running out and rah-rah. So after this meeting, the director called me over and said, because I knew him, we'd met him once before and we'd had chats, and he goes, come into this room. And I sat down in this spooky looking room, and he just offered me the role then. And I went,
wow.
oh.
That's amazing.
So it was all kind of spontaneous and wild and fun.
So what advice would you give 18-year-old Sam?
Learn sooner what's important.
Yeah. I love that. I knew he'd have a really good answer for this.
So I'm 44 now, 45 this year. And I think it's taken me far too long to work out what I mentioned to you before, the value in relationships, the value in experiences, and the value of fun.
Yeah.
For a long time, I overemphasized the importance on the house and the car and the money and the whatever, and it means nothing. It all actually means nothing. I lived in Park and Parade, Mooloolaba, in 1999, where I got engaged to my then girlfriend Xanthi.
Yeah.
And we had the coolest little place, little 2-bedroom unit overlooking the river, roof garden that had an ocean view right in the middle of Mooloolaba. And I won't say what we paid for it, but not very much. And then we sold it also for not very much. And then over the years, you then move through life and have this bullshit pursuit of bigger and better. For what reason, I'll never fucking know, but you do. You want the extra rooms, you want the bigger rumpus room, you want the bigger pool and whatever. So here I am at 44 with big house and big gutters that need cleaning and big garden that needs fucking mowing and big pool that needs cleaning, and all I want is that little unit back at Mooloolaba.
Yeah.
To come home with my passport and jump on a plane on a Friday afternoon. Best day of the week. So
that was,
So I think we're so deluded with media bastards and the pressure outside and this whole picture of wanting stuff and things, and stuff and things are just that.
Yeah, they don't mean
it's
a lot.
Memories, it's moments. It's when you're sitting alone with a cigarette and a coffee that you realise, and you start reflecting on life, that you realise what's important, and it's people and experiences over everything. So that's what I tell 18-year-old Sam. Stay in the fucking unit. Yeah. You're going to end up back there anyway. Yeah. Why waste lots of money and time and effort and energy on stuff that doesn't matter?
It's so sad to think how many people probably won't figure that out in their lifetime too before it's too late. Yeah.
It's the truth. Yep, because we're conditioned. We're so conditioned into believing that what we have is what we're worth.
Yeah.
That's not true.
No.
Yeah.
But until you work that out, you still got to keep doing it because you think that's what's true.
Yeah.
My grandma always said, you're not going to take your money to your grave. And she said, like, you and Terry aren't going to have kids. Enjoy life. Because so many times, you have kids and you always are making sure that it's set for them. And so many people, they get to a certain age and they're too old to travel. Like, you hear horror stories. Like, my grandfather died on his tea break.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even get to, because he kept saying to my grandma, when I retire. He never got that opportunity. And I think, holy shit, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that, as many countries as I can tick off that list, I want to do it.
See everything, eat everything, smell everything, taste everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, experience the world. It's a big, beautiful place, and there's so much stuff we don't know.
Yeah.
Go and find it all.
When did you figure that out?
Probably not until it was too late.
Yeah.
Do you know, I'm going to say, my favourite story of all time, and it was 2009-ish. 2009, that sounds about right. The Belgium bombings happened. Do you remember that? There was a terrorist attack in Belgium at the airport, and 3 bombs were detonated, killing 60-odd people in Belgium. And at the time, we did everything we could to shelter and protect Poppy from seeing the news.
Yeah.
We didn't want her to see it. We went 6 years without a television in the house, her first 6 years, so that she didn't connect to brain herself with that world. But for whatever reason, we read to her every night, and it was my turn, and I'm reading. I remember reading a book to Poppy. It was Wilfred... Cuthbert the Caterpillar and Wilfred the Wasp, one of my faves. And we're reading this story, and I remember I'm on my back, book ahead of me, Poppy's to the left, and we're reading it, and I've finished the book, and I just got a sense from her for the first time she's not at all engaged. She's not really listening. She's not really with me. And we finished the book, I put it down, I looked at her and I said, "What's up?" She goes, didn't try to hide. She goes, "Dad, why did those men bomb Belgium?" What do you say to a 9-year-old?
Yeah.
And there's no manual on how to be a dad. It's just something you make up as you go, which suits me. But I said to her, "Honey, I don't know. I actually don't know the answer to that. All I can say is that there are some bad people in the world who do some very bad things."
Yep.
And she just pondered that for a second. And you could see her processing in her 9-year-old brain. And then she processed and she goes, Well, Dad, it's obvious what we have to do then, isn't it? And I said, "Is it?" "Of course it is. Is it?" "But because it's obvious, tell me anyway."
What's the answer?
And she goes, "Well, if the bad people are doing bad things, it just means that the good people have to do more good things and put more good into the world so that we win."
The innocence of a babe. Like, do you know what I mean? The truth that comes out of a babe's mouth is, I think, is the saying.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely amazing.
So in that moment and in that instance, Jordie, I then kind of took on a new approach to life, which was just put more good in the world.
Yeah.
And my job as a breakfast radio announcer on a commercial radio station on the Sunshine Coast, I took a new attitude towards life. That obviously happened subsequently, but every day you try and make someone's day a little bit better. If you can wake up in the morning and do something that helps somebody, that improves their day, improves their outlook, then you've had a good day. And now I've got a microphone, I feel I can do that more. And I feel like if I can tell a joke, make someone giggle, make someone smile, improve someone's life because they've had a better thought on something or whatever it is I can do, then I've had a good day.
Yeah.
And I think that's global as well. And so that realisation is just put more good into the world, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
It's not about what I can get out of life.
Yeah.
It's about what you can give.
What you can give. And you give a lot. You really
But I think
do.
I get a lot because of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
true, isn't it?
Yeah, with everything you do and just always that, you light up the room. I know you said Ash lights up the room.
You do.
But you both
Toes as well.
And the toes.
And the
The big
toes. You always have such great toes.
You really do.
You know.
Who paints them?
I'd like to spread it around. These ones were done by professional, but if I'm being honest, I probably like Nan's Nails down at the bottom floor of the plaza. There's a couple of other places that are good, but what I do get is foot rub envy. Now, if I go for a petty and the chick next to me is getting a
I
proper
get this
thigh rub,
too, yeah.
and I'm just getting a bit of thumb up the back of the calf action, fuck you, man.
I get you with
We
that.
both paid $85.
Yeah.
Do better.
I totally agree.
Do better. Look what she's doing. She's basically wanking his foot. His toes are about to jizz, and I'm barely getting my hairs parted. Are you feeling me?
I feel you. I always eyeball mum's lady when she's getting hers done, and I'm like, that's better than mine.
Right?
Yeah.
So I get envy. So I then won't go back to those places.
Yeah. And that's only fair.
Well, that's why I get to shop around.
But your toes look fabulous.
Thanks, Doc.
What are your future goals and aspirations?
Well, hello. This is exciting.
Okay, good. We're ready. Look at us get comfy and readjust.
So a couple of things you've mentioned already that will actually bring all of this into one. One being my love of the ocean.
Yep.
Two being my love of experiences and relationships. Specifically my daughter being number one. So I want to be a pirate. Why are you laughing?
We're not laughing because we know this.
Yes. So there's a little thing in play at the moment that will, before too long, see a beautiful pirate ship dancing in the Bay of Mooloolaba permanently. It's a little bit smaller than when we've last talked for logistical reasons, but a pirate ship will be living here and I will be its captain. In order to get it here, I'm going to sail it from Europe to Mooloolaba, and that'll be hopefully part of my long service leave at Hot 91. So it's a 3.5 month voyage.
Do you need a couple of deck wenches?
You know you're coming.
Deck wenches.
But I've got something fun for you to wear, Auntie Neil.
Done.
Don't even start me with you, Jordyn.
Yes, I'm ready.
We might need your husband to come along too.
Okay, good. He can
Just
come.
for everyone's sake.
Dan's going to be the person that's up in the mast with the big goggles.
Yes.
Yeah. Smell ice, can you?
He's got the accent that down already.
Doesn't he? He's ready to go.
So that'll be fun. But the whole idea there is the idea of being 3 months at sea. I love ocean adventures, and I think the idea of travelling through the world by old square rig ship across the entire planet to Mooloolaba. I've done races, yacht racing my whole life, and that satisfaction of getting in after a 5-day race, facing peril, facing storm, facing imminent death is something that you just, and then the satisfaction of reaching land and securing that and tying the boat up and just going, I did it, I conquered the sea, is a feeling you can't put into words. To do that in a classic old pirate ship with candle-lit nights and sunsets for days and just the beauty of the ocean, of all of the oceans, to get from Europe to here will just be something that you will never, ever replace in your memories. And the people I get to share that with will never have a moment like it in their lives again.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's something that will be etched in your forever memories.
Wow.
And that is something you can take to your grave.
Yeah.
And so the excitement around that is palpable, and that is my future goal. Still chances it won't happen. There's still stuff that has got to happen. It looks great, and I'm pretty excited about it. But yeah, that's the goal, is to become a pirate and sail a pirate ship from Europe to Mooloolaba, and then operate it here as a dive educational enviro marine conservation type vessel, but doing trips to Noosa, Byron, and the Whitsundays.
Wow.
People often ask, what's your fear? What's your great fear? Mine's not being there. So I think it's FOMO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's FOMO around not being there when I'm needed.
Yeah.
And so I experience that quite a lot with Poppy.
Yeah.
The notion of, money can't buy everything. So I've always kept a knowledge in myself that if something happened, I could just pay for things to be fixed.
Yep.
But when you're on the other side of the planet, you can't do that always.
Yeah.
So my comfort zones, do you know what? Strangely enough, I don't like being the centre of attention when it's not my choice. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Birthdays?
Yeah.
Fucking hate.
Yeah.
I don't like it when people sing happy birthday to me, when when everyone stands around and you got your cake in front of you and everyone. Hate that.
Yeah.
So you got to smile and go with it because you have no choice. But but that's not something I'm comfortable with. So I like to be the centre of attention, but on my terms.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I get that.
Yeah, and doing
not.
things that you want to be doing.
Yeah.
So I think those are the sorts of things that stretch me a little bit. And I don't always enjoy the crowd. That's not always my thing.
Yeah.
That's why you're drawn to the beach, because literally it's that.
And scuba diving. Under the water, I'm in my own space. No one can talk to you. You can't talk to anyone.
That terrifies me, and it's still something I want to do. And I know one day you'll get me out there. That would be me out of my comfort zone.
And that's a great thing to push because it will stretch. And then the best thing is once you overcome those things, you then want to find other things that push you and stretch you because that's then fun because you go, okay, I've beaten that. What else can I do?
Yeah.
How else can I grow?
It's a good rhythm to get into, isn't it? Yeah.
That's why when Xanthi and Poppy sat me down at the Silver Spoon in Cotton Tree and said, we're going to the Czech Republic. Do you want to come? I went, no, but go.
Yeah.
Go and get that in your veins and then go to Paris, go to Rome, go to Prague, go to Istanbul, go everywhere and see it all and do it all because you can.
Yeah.
And whilst you can, exactly what you're saying, go do it.
And look, like, you know, if Melbourne's on the cards for university, that's absolutely amazing. But at the same time, you would completely understand if she doesn't. Yeah. You here in Melbourne, she'd be like, do you know what? There's toilets older in the UK than Australia is. Can I go back over? You'd be like, go. You know, don't even question it.
Some birds can't be caged.
Yeah.
And shouldn't be.
No.
More importantly.
Yeah. Incredible dad, Sam, you are.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
It was my favourite episode to date.
Amazing. I get emotional balls.
But I could literally sit here and talk to you all day. We're very lucky to call you our friend, so thank you so much.
Love you
so much.
We love you.
Thank
you.
But yeah, thank you
Have
so much.
to get you scuba diving, both of you?
Oh, yes.
Both of you. Don't look at me like, you're looking at me like if I say nothing, he'll lose focus.
I can strap you to me and we can do it together. Is that strange?
It is, but fucking hot at the same time. And I need to see that.
Could you imagine?
I think your listeners and watchers of
I'll go swimming one way.
Belly and the Dancer would be loving that sick.
Photos. Have some photos, Paige.
I'll just watch.
Oh my God. Could you imagine both of us in the
I'll instruct.
God. Any splash, we'll be like, what was that?
It's a shark.
Yeah.
You'll be less worried about sharks while you're together.
Yeah. But honestly, thank you so much. We love you.
We love having you here. And we'll see you again soon.
Yep.
And let's enjoy some more time with Sam soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Done.
Thank you.
Thank you.